anyone and everyone who wants to come to Disney and experience the magic can experience it. Hey guys, it's Hope. Welcome back to my channel. And today we are going to be talking about my trip to Magic Kingdom and Epcot and how accessible Disney has made those two specific parks. So let's start with the highlights of both parks. The highlight of both parks is that you can get an audio description device for legally blind or blind people. All you have to do is go into the guest services offices at both parks and go up to the counter and let them know that you would like to have an audio description device for the blind and visually impaired. And what they will do is they will give you that device and they will actually put it on file under your name and make you pay a $25 deposit on it. And don't worry, you'll get that deposit back. It's just a way for Disney to ensure that they are able to get their property back, as that is very expensive equipment. So you get that device, and all it is it is a rectangular box that hangs on a lanyard around your neck, so you don't have to hold it up the whole time. And then from that box is a cord with a little earpiece, and you just put that earpiece over your ear. You just fit it over your ear so that you can be listening to the audio description in one ear, but you can be listening to the environment with the other ear. So that's a really great feature. And there are several things that you can do with this audio description. As you're walking around the park, the device will actually sync and connect with different receptors throughout the park, and then it will let you know where you are. This is really helpful as you're going through the park because you don't have to have your friend tell you exactly where you are. You can know that you're by Tomorrowland Speedway. The other thing is, if you bring a guide dog to Disney, it will let you know where the service dog relief areas are. So that is a great feature. Another great feature is the ride descriptions. These are absolutely amazing. As soon as you get into a ride, the device will connect with the ride and tell you exactly what is going on as you're going through the ride. This is absolutely incredible. The Winnie the Pooh ride has a special place in my heart because it was my first ever ride with the audio description, and I almost cried because of how beautiful and how amazing of a job they did in going through all of their rides and picking words and ideas that could convey to me as a legally blind person who can't see most, if not any, of the aspects that this thing is talking about, that it can still convey the beauty and the magic of Disney. That is just second level, third level, 10th level of absolute beauty and skill and determination to make sure that anyone and everyone who wants to come to Disney and experience the magic can experience it. The other thing that I found out was that if you go into the menus and you click on area description, not only will it tell you what things are in the area, but also exactly how it looks. So when we were in Epcot, I was able to have it describe to me the places where we were. I could start the area description, and as we were walking along, it would describe the pavilion and the surrounding areas, and it would tell me what shops were in the area and how the gardens looked and everything, and it just made everything so much more beautiful. Because I can look around and say, there's plants, and these buildings look pretty, but the buildings don't necessarily look different to me from one country to the other. And so to have the beauty of the artistry and the buildings and the gardens and all these things described to me made it even more beautiful to me. Now, on to some areas of growth that I see in the audio description devices and things like that. I wish that there was a way for me to understand how it worked from the beginning, because the first day and halfway through the second day, I was still trying to understand how to use this device. And I think that it would have been helpful if I'd known which way to point it, because it tells you to point it with the triangles in the top right. But what it doesn't say is that you don't point it flat with what you assume when you touch the side of the audio description device. You feel this smooth part, and it almost feels like that might be a receiver or something. You don't hold it flat so that the receiver or that smooth part points out, which is what I thought you did. You actually point it up so that the buttons and the screen is facing you, and then the receiver thing is facing straight up. Now, in Magic Kingdom, you could have it down around your neck and not hold it, and it would be okay. It would still receive to the different transponders and everything, and it would still give you the information that you needed. But what I found in Epcot was that if you did not hold it correctly, meaning in the specific position they tell you to hold it in, it will not pick up the correct things. So several times in Epcot, I would not be getting audio descriptions of the rides, but it was because I didn't hold the device correctly, and so it, for whatever reason, wasn't picking up the correct rides. And then there were a couple of rides, for example, the Nemo ride and a couple other rides, where it was just going way too fast. Like, it would tell me about something 2 stages before we actually got there. And so I felt like that was a little frustrating, because sometimes I was like, oh no, it's spoiling the ride. We're not there yet. So that was a little difficult. And it was also hard for me to follow and keep track of what was going on, because I couldn't tell if it had skipped ahead or if it was behind or if it was on track. Now, what I will say is that for the rides and the devices that did work correctly and that did sync well, if the ride did have a problem, the audio description would maybe move forward to the next set of things that were happening, and then it would notice that we were stopped at a specific area, and it would stop. And then as soon as we started moving, it would restart that particular set of content again. So that was really helpful, and that was nice. Another thing that I wish is that there was a list or something out there of the attractions that had audio description and the attractions that didn't have audio description. Because until you know how the device works, it's unclear whether the device is not talking because nothing is happening that the device can describe, or if it's because something is going wrong and I need to go back to guest services. I wish that more ride queues were described. The Haunted Mansion ride queue was absolutely amazing because it was described the whole way. They told me what the engravings were on the gravestones. They told me about the creepy instruments and the flutes and the dead plants and everything, and that was just so cool. I wish that some of the other interactive ride queues, like Winnie the Pooh and Guardians of the Galaxy, were described more. When we were watching the Guardians of the Galaxy video, yes, there's a whole story. I'm not going to ruin it, but there's a whole story that you watch as you're waiting in line before you go get in the roller coaster. And I wish that that was audio described, because it was hard to tell who was talking and what was going on and who was saying what. And I just didn't necessarily understand the story at all. And I wish that I had understood more of that story. I think that's just some really helpful feedback that I hope that Disney takes and continues to improve upon. But for all of you legally blind people who are wondering if Disney is a place to go and enjoy the magic and be able to enjoy things even though you can't see, the answer is absolutely yes, 100%. It is absolutely incredible what these devices can do and how these devices can enhance your ability to enjoy the parks because now you're able to see everything else that your sighted family and friends can see. The only other thing that I would say, and this is not constructive feedback at all, this is perfectly fine, but just so that you as legally blind people are aware, the audio description devices will lose their battery at some point during the day. Just be aware that if you do go and get your device during rope drop, your device probably start to die around 4:35 p.m. So I know that we had to plan our day to make sure that we could get back to guest services to exchange it for another device before going back to where we were in the park and continuing about our day. So those were my thoughts on accessibility in Magic Kingdom and Epcot. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something. If you did learn something, feel free to like and subscribe. Also, comment below if you have any questions or if you have any thoughts on what else Disney can continue to improve upon. Feel free to comment down below, and I would love some more ideas for content that you would like to see me create, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, have a great rest of your day.